here consisted of an initial 2 phases which are over and completed. Namely, oh man, did somebody just hit the screen on me? So, which consisted of an initial 2 phases of Brodsky rental property to our southeast. Yep, the Brodsky rental property, and then about 650,000 square feet of retail. These 2 phases are up and done now, and the retail featuring strong anchor tenants such as Trader Joe's, Target, Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, and then the really wonderful, if anybody is looking for a space for lunch after today, DeKalb Markets. If you're familiar with Chelsea Market, similar circumstance where you've got over 40 local vendors, restaurants, dining, all there at the base of the building, and this runs here immediately to our south. So us being the 3rd and final phase are the for sale component of this overall 1.8 million square feet of an overall project. The base of the building, if we come back to the property here, with our main entrance on Willoughby, the base of the building running here along Albee Square West and Flatbush will be retail as well. That'll be about 68,000 square feet of retail, run by the same organization as the City Point development. The other large project that we would want to note on the area coming in is the brand new Willoughby Square Park. So immediately to our west, the city is constructing an entire block of not only a brand new park with dog runs, green spaces, outdoor seating, but you'll also have over 400 public parking spaces below this park as well. Similar time frame, we're both looking at a 2020 completion, both the park as well as the development, but obviously providing us a great aesthetic to our western exposure, particularly those 2-bedroom lines. So speaking of the specific layouts, with the base of the building being retail and then some triple height amenities, which we'll get you the details on in a moment, here on 9 through 11, the residences actually don't even start until the 15th floor. So even our starting price point has a buyer a good 150 feet up in the air. Now, with regards to the layouts themselves, so when we talk about the 1-bedroom apartments, the 1-bedrooms are generally going to be located with a couple open southern or northern exposures, and a general price point here to the north or south, we're looking at a 1.1 to a 1.25 million price point, but with our 25-year tax abatement, emphasis on the word 25, so it's a very long tax abatement, you're looking at only about, give or take, $900 a month for all of your taxes and carrying costs on the 1-bedrooms. That's only about $1.20 per foot. Typically, we'd be a good $250 with this type of environment.
What size are the 1-bedrooms going to be?
The 1-bedrooms, we're generally going to be in the mid-7s. Okay. So we've got some that are at 730.
They're comparable to Manhattan
they get 7. What's that?
They're comparable to Manhattan prices.
Well, prices, we're in that $1,600, $1,700 a square foot, which for this particular neighborhood, well, the base of the building, anywhere from a 15 to 38, has us in a typical price point that you would find in this neighborhood, but certainly not a tax abatement that you would find, or some of the exposures and certainly the amenity program. To give you an idea of what some of the exposures would look like, if I kind of direct you to the screen here, this is what our southern view in sort of a midpoint of the building is going to look at. So even our southern exposure, because you're protected overlooking the City Point project here where the Target, the Trader Joe's are located, is going to provide you a lot of wide open skyline views where we start to pick up the horizon. But if we go even higher in the 1-bedroom layouts, we get into some really spectacular clearance views when we get into kind of a 1.35, 1.4 price range, which gets you a lot of that New York Harbor view, and certainly a spectacular lit up nighttime skyline. When we go to the north, go ahead.
So you said really quickly the western exposure pretty much will be, open.
Yeah.
So no 1-bedrooms on that western side, just 2s and 3s?
Just 2s and 3s. Well, actually just 2s. Just 2 bedrooms on that side. The southern views 1-bedrooms will be, as you see here, we do have a style of northern 1-bedrooms, which would provide you some of the Manhattan skyline. So that similar price point, 115 to a little over 1.2 with the 900 monthly carrying costs. but you can see this exposure gives you a lot of distance to any properties, and we'll start to pick up some hints there of that Manhattan skyline view. And again, this being in our one-bedroom plans. Now, obviously, with a 720-foot tower, we start to get into our two-bedroom apartments, is where we start to get into a lot of clearance of these properties, and we really start to pick up some of the more spectacular skyline views. For example, if we start to get into a higher 50s floor, you start to look at exposure of both the New York Harbor on the corner, as well as that Manhattan skyline view, including all the way through Midtown. To get the Manhattan skyline view in a two-bedroom, we are just kind of crossing that 2.1 million price point, but we can get up into a 2.5, or where we really set some records for the neighborhood in that $2,200 a square foot is where we get into corners where you're picking up both the harbor as well as the Midtown view.
So are we clearing 1,000 square feet these two bedrooms?
Sure. Yeah, you're looking at 1,100,
right,
give or take, in terms of the twos. But we should note that even if we look at a lower floor on a two-bedroom, even if we look at really our starting floor of like a 19th floor layout, this is going to have us below that $2 million mark at a 1.9 range. But this is going to be an aesthetically pleasing view, because you'll have not only the green rooftop over City Point, but this entire area all through here, that's going to be all park.
Right.
That's the park I showed you guys on the way here.
Right.
Yeah, so again, with our residences not even starting until the 15th floor, we don't have a low floor, unbright view in the entire building. Okay. Now, the three-bedroom layouts don't start until a 41st floor, so every three-bedroom, even south of that $3 million mark, where you're only looking at about $1,800 a month to carry, is going to provide spectacular views no matter where we're.
So we're talking north of here?
Correct. The building structure up through 38 is where we have most of the ones in the studio. 39 and 40 being all mechanical,
right.
41 and up, the larger layouts. It's a neighborhood that has changed significantly over the past decade, and consequently no accident that we've done 42% of this building in twos, and a significant amount of all three bedrooms when we get into those higher floors as well. Okay. So before we kind of dive in, no pun intended, because we do have two swimming pools, into the amenities, any questions on the building itself? And don't worry too much about memorization. We have full broker packets that have all price points and floor plans and those details as well.
Great.
So what are the amenities that you have that's included in it?
Correct. So when we talk about that $900 number, our tax abatement is almost a tax exemption. Only about 9 cents per foot of that number is taxes. We'll get you that figure as well if we didn't have an abatement in place, which about doubles the number. But that $900 figure, $1,400 figure in a two-bedroom, that's for everything with all the amenities being included.
One feature that I forgot to touch upon is transportation and convenience of getting to downtown Brooklyn, which is quite ideal. So part of the City Point development, and literally around the corner from where our building will be positioned, you have your DeKalb Avenue train station, which is where the B, Q, and the R train is located. Within a 5-minute walk from that location, you have 11 separate subway lines, including all your numbered lines, 2, 3, 4, and 5, as well as your ACF and ACG within a walking distance from the building. So transportation is truly ideal. Getting to Midtown, getting to Union Square, you're looking at 15 to 20-minute commutes on public transportation with multiple train lines available to you.
Yeah, the Q train is 2 stops. 2 stops to Union.
Yeah, this neighborhood's the only neighborhood that kind of rivals Union Square.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get quicker there than if we were on
This is
the
actually better than Union Square,
side.
because you can hop on that railroad and get out to Jones Beach. Can't do that from Union Square.
No, then you still got to come to Brooklyn.
Exactly.
Or the report.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. So what we'll do is I'll turn it over to Deborah. We'll kind of bring you through the sales gallery here. If everyone wants to kind of gather around our